Greetings, friend. Haven't done that in a while. Right, so here I am, finally at DRS12. Could have been here months ago if I weren't such an idiot, but I digress. Right, so the takeaways I can give for this. Carriers, not that big a deal. The ghosts are a bit of a big deal, but I do have tools to circumvent their nonsense, so. Right, so let's go into this. Got one, two, three, four, five bombers. I don't know how average that is. This is my second run. 6 bombers, so only one of them, 2 of them, is in the P12, so that's not too bad. Got one in the Phoenix Hydro sector. We got 2 Phoenixes here, actually. So that's a lot of extra things to kill. I don't know if the Phoenixes are guaranteed now in the Hydro sectors. I hope they're not. But I do have ways of dealing with this, right? So I'm going in with the usual Alpha WAMP setup that I kind of breeze through DRS11 with. And the plan is pretty much the same. Use my Alpha WAMP to deal with bombers as I see fit. I do like using the second half of the Alpha WAMP on the planets bound bombers, just so they aren't such a big deal when I come back to those planets. And luckily this spawn didn't have too many super packed bomber sectors with a bunch of signals and a couple of colossi, you know. And yeah, keeping an eye on the carrier, because I don't want to be on top of the carrier when it spawns those signals. They kind of hurt when you do that. But they do very little when you spawn just like on the outskirts of your firing range, if you hit them on the outskirts of your firing range. Right, so got those bombers dealt with. And because there's no other dangerous bomber sectors, because this is just Guardians, you can just kill the Guardians in that sector. I can use my third Alpha WAMP, which I tend to do separately because it's easier to keep track of, on the Phoenix shields just to break them, because the shield is kind of the main issue here. Everything else I can just EMP usually. I mean, I guess I could EMP them with the signals on top of them and whatnot, but you know, it's just a little easier this way. Not start knocking out that bomber since there's nothing else here except for that Colossi. And I believe this one, I forgot how this one got so low on hull. I think I took some carrier signals to the face before I could teleport out. I'm not sure, but it's fine. Okay, I guess there's one kind of packed bomber sector. There's no Colossi in here, so it's not too bad. So I just cleared this how I would normally clear it without a shield, you know. Jump on the lighter, you know, just some isolated Serbs, and use my repair drone and decoy and all that to deal with the rest, and it tends to work out pretty well. Not much shield, or not much hull damage taken, and I can kill the lone bomber in peace. Alright, and over here I just been sitting on the storms, you know, let them passively die on my mass battery, and killing this one bomber that was over here. So, you know, just clearing things out, making it all nice and clean for later on. And we'll speed up a little bit here. Right, and I forgot about that Hydra that was here, so start knocking that out now. I do kind of prefer the P11 starter planets because, as far as I know, it's only the Hydra that spawns here. I've never seen one that has, you know, a Phoenix or a bomber in these starter planets, so I'm I'm gonna try to take that. Then the P10s that sometimes have a Phoenix and a bomber as well as two storms to deal with. The Hydra does a lot of damage to my hull since I don't have a shield, but I can easily just duck in and out with different ships and use my repair drone when I need to, so it's not that big of a deal. And speaking of big deals, Alpha and Wimp are off cooldown on two of the ships now, so for the most part, because it's easier to keep track of, I'm just going to do what I normally do. Jump on the Phoenix, move towards the destroyer to kill it, and try to stay as long as I can. And normally I would stay in the sector to clear everything out, because once my Alpha Shield drops, what's left is just a half-dead Hydra, and maybe sometimes the Phoenix, but I can EMP the signals that pop out of that. But I can't really do that with the carrier in the sector, so I have to go back to what I did before when I was testing this build and leave the sector when my Alpha Shield got low. I did try to get a few good licks on the carrier before I left, though. But yeah, so I kind of have to play it safe at least with this build, since I don't really have any area damage, explosives, and all that to deal with all this nonsense here. So yeah, same thing over here. I teleported up because this ship had so much hull. I decided I also started knocking at that bomber that I forgot about in the corner of the star. And this is kind of the big. I think this was one of the spawns, right? I'm not sure. But the super ghost spawn, it's a bit much. I don't know why Andreas had to do all that. Ghosts were already bad enough. Encouraging multi-target weapons, only which there are like 2 in the game. I guess 3 if you count Pulse. But I'm not sure if these super ghosts that spawn like 20 or 25 ghosts at once, I don't know if that was necessary. On top of the carrier and all that nonsense. So, the third Alpha Lamp is up. Go in there, heal with the repair drone. Try to get a few good hits on there. I am kind of experimenting about clearing out the Phoenix and the Hydra as quick as possible, or try to sort of get into the carrier while my Alpha Shield is up, and kind of leave the Phoenix and Hydra alone. So I would jump in, kill the destroyer, and then go towards the carrier. Not too sure which is better yet, because, if carrier takes a long time to kill, even with my Alpha Lamp, it takes a while to kill. But leaving the Hydra and the Phoenix could prove troublesome when my Alpha Shield goes down. But yeah, so it's about the 3-minute mark. Time to get the civilians in, although I was a little late because I don't know why I was trying so desperately to clear that. I really need to get those civilians in. Got them in kind of late. I got the flashing there. Right. And so I'm on defense here, dealing with these ghosts and interceptors occasionally. Now luckily the spawn for the ghosts and the interceptors weren't that bad. Like, they didn't target my civilians like they normally would. So, I guess maybe that's a change, or maybe I just got lucky. I'm not sure. And yeah, here was the plan. I would go into the planet a third time, or I guess a second time really, with my Alpha Wamp, which kind of makes me rely on the Alpha and Wamp a bit more than I would like. But I think I'm going to need more than EMP to deal with all this here, so, which is fine. For the most part, it's fine. I've heard that you can't really take your time in DRS12 because of the amount of ghosts that spawn. But taking it this slow, I haven't really had much of an issue with that. I mean, there are more of them, but it doesn't seem to multiply the longer time goes on. Unless they mean like once you hit the 30-minute mark, I'm not sure. Um, so yeah, loading up here. You know, waiting for really just opportunities because I'm waiting for something like this where I can let one ship deal with two spawns and then have another ship take out another sector. Because sadly, I have to pay attention to where the carrier goes. I mean, sometimes it can just teleport a few feet away from you. I guess it's not really feet. That's like a couple thousand miles away. But you know, we're ships, so we can fire that far away. But you know, whatever. Um. So yeah, but believe there was one small yeah, at the EMP because my alpha went down, and there I was firing on the hydrolings and the signals were not getting shot down. So at the EMP, those signals there, but I believe there was one or maybe a few casualties. Yeah, see this? This is that super spawn I was talking about. It's a lot more ghosts than usual. It doesn't look like much, and the ghosts aren't really different. There's just more of them. But apparently that's enough to completely destroy my decoy drone and even some of my hull, which I was not expecting. See, this is like the normal. It's like 13 or so, maybe 12. This is like 20, give or take. I'm not really counting that well, but yeah, and you wouldn't think 7 ghosts would make a difference, but I guess they kind of do. So here, I meant to use my decoy drone, or maybe I did. Okay, no. I guess it wasn't at this point. Yeah, I'm not used to that. normally my decoy can face tank a group of ghosts, 13 ghosts, and still have like 1,000 hull left. But you know, add 7 more, and suddenly decoy is gone, and I lose about a couple thousand hull. And that's just from the ghosts walking into me. If they spawn on top of me, it's a lot more. But I believe at some point there was a bit of a casualty at some point. I forgot when, but it wasn't good. And yes, I could have cleared this with this ship. I think I was just playing things a little too safely. I would have moved out of the way of these ghosts, but I kind of wanted to hurry up, you know, because the whole ghosts multiply a lot the longer you take, so I didn't want to waste time waiting for these ghosts to move out of the way. But sadly, that thinking kind of costs the lives of these transports. You shall see. And yeah, the interceptors kept spawning up there, so that was fun. I don't know why they just kept spawning up there. Also, I don't know if you saw that at the EMP, a pack of super ghosts. I need a better name for that. The 20 spawn, the extra ghosts. I don't know. Which is one of two things I can do for those. Because if my decoy isn't up and I'm kind of low on hull, I can use my alpha shield or I can EMP. EMP being the riskier option because it has a delay, but it kind of works for the most part, depending on how much attention I give to that ship when it happens. So I think it was here. Yeah, I didn't see that interceptor at first. Playing this on mobile is rough. I'll tell you what. Can't really see things too far away. Okay, well, looks like this ship died somehow. Not really sure. Is this a super extra spawn? I don't think so. Yep. Oh yeah, clear this sector out because I'm going to load from this planet. Actually, I already loaded from that planet. I have to go over to this planet. Servers on the way. Not too bad, though. You don't need a shield for everything, you know? Okay, maybe my decoy expired. Because I don't think they... It looks like they instantly killed it. I guess my decoy expired. Maybe the last thing of Ghost. But yeah, a bit of a travesty here. Now, I was quick enough to see this to where I thought this would be safe. But I really should have just moved these just in case. I do have Rush 15 for a reason. But yeah, lost a couple transports there. And then I kind of forgot about the super spawn that was going on over there too. So teleport back, use my decoy. Yeah, luckily the super spawn isn't so bad when they walk into you, but it still kind of hurts, you know. But yeah, and that took me a while to deal with because I had to rebuild a battleship and a transport, and even though it's quick these days, the station is kind of far, not too far from my Red Star scanner, but you know, further than I would like. But yeah, so that was kind of the only thing. Not really a big deal. I guess my decoy ran out or expired when I wasn't paying attention to the timers there, and that cost actually like 90,000 hydro. But at this point in the game, that's not really a big deal because I don't really do shipments anymore. So I guess I don't really play every day anymore either. And I finally decided, you know, the interceptors spawning up here are becoming a pain in the neck long enough. So let's go deal with this up here. So I don't have to deal with interceptors spawning up there anymore. Well, with impunity. And yeah, this maneuver here without the rush, that was like 5,000 hydro just moving across the star like that, but it's fine. It's fine. I mean, you can see my hydro reserves are kind of low. But yeah, so overall, from what I gather, because you know, this is kind of it. It's just defending the carrier, not too bad. The super spawn of ghosts can be terrifying, but if you are paying attention, they are not too bad. Yeah, that is. I mean, they are terrifying, but I will say though, in DRS11, I rarely used my EMP, and I didn't really need my alpha shield for like ghosts that often, because the normal spawn of ghosts, if you just let them walk into you, they deal like 1,000 hull damage. It's not that much. So in other words, I kind of have a reason to use alpha shield and EMP while defending. I guess I didn't really use EMP while clearing too much either, but I guess in this with the carriers and me having to kill them without a shield, the EMP does come in handy, so I will give kudos to that. I do have to use my modules more than I, you know, had to before, like, to deal with all this, but overall, DRS12, it's just more annoying than difficult. I guess it's just a good overall assessment of what it is compared to DRS11. Granted, DRS11 is kind of easy because DRS10 is considered more difficult in it, but you know. Now, in terms of the Stooges build, the Three Stooges, because I know a few of you are going to be interested in that, I will say P11s being here without storms to distract the rocket launcher ship might be better. So I could do things more actively at the start. And also, I have tested it. My battery ship can almost kill a carrier before the signals overwhelm it. So I can kind of duck in and out, like just taking damage up to my shield to hit the carrier. And, you know, yeah, dive in and out, use EMP and all that. And that might be enough. I don't know if I'm going to even bother trying the Studios build with this, because the one thing that messes everything up are the ghosts. The ghosts were giving my dual laser ship a bit of trouble before. Now it's might be too much for it, and the rocket launcher ship can deal with the ghosts pretty reliably, but it also has the secondary job of blowing up planet sectors and really packed sectors. So yeah, the changes to DRS12 would be amazing for the Studios build, especially with the planet sectors being more packed. All of the signals can keep my dual laser ramped up, so I did have an issue with DRS11 where my dual laser ship would lose its ramp because there's not enough ships in the sector to keep the ramp going. But with all the signals and the extra 100,000 hull ship in this sector, um, it's a little easier. Although sometimes the Hydra does the spawn, which is interesting. I guess that's not really a bad change, because the Hydra can be a little annoying because I can't use my drones in the sector with it, because it'll just kill it or kill me. Um, but on the other hand, there's not too much in the way, really, so it's alright. But yeah, Stooges, I don't really know. I'll have to I'll have to circle back to that. Maybe once my rocket launcher hits level 13 and I can shoot down Hydras without any issue. Um, but yeah, so not too bad, not too shabby. I will see if things change. I don't know how packed of a spawn this is. I mean, the double Phoenix Hydro sector with an extra bomber in there is a kind of high, but I know sometimes you can get 4 Phoenixes because 2 P10s and then a double Hydro planet with 4 Phoenixes surrounding you. That can happen in DRS11. Um, so yeah, I'll have to see about that. But anyway, I am rather rambling on as I normally do, right? So shall see you around, and ta-ta for now, I suppose.